What's up guys, Steven Doctor. So this video is very dedicated to you. I want to thank you guys for supporting me to 100k subscribers. We'll be giving out a live trading because a lot of people are asking for it. So the live webinar will be completely free. And just make sure subscribe to our email list and we'll be sending out an email, give you what link to click and what day will be on. So click the link below. The live webinar will probably be around next week or maybe next week. I'll try to get the dates next week so maybe we can catch a live trade or I can answer you guys' questions. Our Christmas sale is going on starting from now. Make sure to grab your conference tickets, our DVD guides, everything's on sale. Make sure to grab a chance and let's get into today's topic. So the most two frequent question I get asked is, how's it be like to being from a college student to making multi-million dollars per year? What's the minimum dollar to start before jumping into the stock industry? And today I'm going to go over all those two questions and what did I gain, what did I sacrifice. So let's get back from the very beginning. So back in about 3 to 4 years ago, I was majoring in environmental engineering and chemical engineering. So I was taking about 17 credit hours per semester, also working at a night shift in a school or dorm. So basically I have to work about 6 hours a day, well 5 days a week, and from 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. I make about $50 per night, and depends about the nights, I make anywhere between 300 to 400 per day. No, I make 300 to 400 per week. So I was using that type of money to save as much as I can, and I really want to get out of that, well, college life because my sleep schedule is all screwed up, and I do not want to live in the same life that for the rest of 4 years before I graduate. So I started looking into different industries, looking into what type of investment can do to really aggressively grow my account. So I looked up into real estate, looked up into stock market. And for real estate, you need a good credit. Well, first, second, you have to be able to communicate. At that time, my English was pretty bad. Right now, it's still bad, but better than before. So I couldn't really communicate that well before I make the deal happen. So I got rid of that. So for stock market, I want something that only based on technical analysis instead of fundamental, because I do not want to read the whole type of long documents to figure out, well, which one I should really be able to invest it in to wait for 5 years, then 10 years, and to make it grow 50%, 100%, because it's not really aggressively grow your account. You have to wait for so long. I want something that I can put time into it, looking for aggressive short-term investment. So I jumped into this thing called penny stock or micro-cap stocks. Whatever you want to call it, I typically trade stocks at under $5. Sometimes I trade around 10, 20, or sometimes 70. So it's not really in that same industry because mid cap or large cap, I trade pretty much all of them. It just depends on the frequency, how many times I place a trade on different market cap zones. Initially, I started to trade ETFs. That's my first approach to the stock market. Then I started looking for daily averages. What if the stock have an average going up and down rate every single day? Let's say the stock maximum gain will be 15%, maximum losses will be 15%. Because ETF is not like penny stock, they're not going to drop to zero. So there's going to be average bouncing back and forth rate. Now, every time it goes off the rate, let's say today it went up 20%, that means it's going 5% above the average. Then I'm going to go against it, which means I'm going to short it because it's bouncing off the daily range. Now, let's say today lost 50%, then I'm going to buy it. Well, today lost about 20%, then it's 5% off the daily range, which means I'm going to buy it. And that worked out really well. And I did try to trade that type of method for almost 2 months. I made $1,000 just by using the technical analysis, and I also lost $1,000 based on my emotions. At the beginning, I do not really know how to really control my emotion because when I lose money, I don't really think rationally. I think about, well, I need to make this money back because I just lost it today. If I make it back, I feel better. I want to stay green every single day, but it's not possible for the stock market. You have to wait for opportunity to come to you. But at that time, I do not understand that type of psychology of how to really supposed to trade the market. I lost another $1,000 and I cut it pretty much even. I was thinking about, well, I should change my method into probably different industry, or I made the mistakes and I know how I made the mistakes. And I was looking for more aggressive gains instead of making $1,000 in 2 months and losing $1,000 in 2 months. So I jumped into, as you guys know, micro cap stocks or mid cap stocks. Now, my first approach will be a little bit different because I want to know, okay, what's the general statistics for all those penny stocks that's out there, because penny stocks are not like ETFs. They can drop 100% in a day, they can gain 1,000% in a day. You never know. It's not a settled bouncing range because ETFs never just straight drop to zero and gain about 100% in a day. That's very, very rare. Now for penny stocks, it's pretty much everywhere. You never know the stock is going to 1,000%, 2,000% in a day. And you don't know which stock, you don't know how it's supposed to make the action, and I don't have a general statistics. So at that time, I was very motivated to get out of the college life, and I started tracking massive statistics everywhere. Any type of tickers that involves flow, market cap, and volatility. So I was tracking every tickers that was going up 20%, 50%, 100%, and I'll track into different time zones. So 9 to 11, 11 to 2, 2 to 4. Because now I found out 9 to 11 and 2 to 4, those two time zones are most active time zone. Now, when I want to pick the most efficient timing for microcaps or mid-cap stocks, it's anywhere between 9:30 to 10:30. So the first hour of the market open, it's where you can make the most money. Now, a lot of people are thinking about, well, you should go full-time for trading stocks. The answer is you don't. I trade pretty much part-time. I spend about first hour to trade, and also for now I teach people how to trade in a live webinar. And sometimes it gets busy, then I have to stay up for all day. But most of the time, 45 minutes to an hour is what you should spend on just to trade microcap stocks or mid-cap stocks. You do not need to spend a long time sitting in a chair and do nothing. So I highly recommend it if you want to just jump into this industry. Always start part-time and use the part-time as your advantage to be able to track statistics, learn the fundamentals, learn the technical analysis, learn the patterns and all that. And that's, I think, is one of the most important suggestions I would suggest for a beginner to do that. So a lot of people are also asking me, what did you sacrifice on your college life? Well, so basically I spend about 10 hours a day, 365 days, pretty much no break. In holiday, I still don't take breaks. And I was learning patterns, drawing pictures on the wall, putting them on the wall, and looking like I was a psychopath because people think I was legit crazy about learning stocks. And after a year and a half, I built my edge, I built my statistics, I built my database, and started really profiting. So initially, I only have about 1 or 2 patterns. I was already profiting massively. Then I added more patterns. I was pretty much getting to, I think, the maximum of you can profit from microcaps or mid-cap stocks just using my capital. So in conclusion, I pretty much sacrificed all the party life, also lack of study time for school as well. And that's a very important thing as well. I would use my class time to study, use shower time to study, use cooking time to study, using pretty much every time you can get. Listening Bluetooth in the car, trying to study for the market. So everything takes practice. It's like a sport. If you want to become the pro of the sports or become good at the sports, it takes years to get there. If you want to speed it up, you just have to practice more. You just have to learn more and learn from other people or the general practice by your own, because the best thing you can learn is from yourself and from other people's mistakes. Now, the method of how I studied is I pulled out every single big trader's mistakes and I started to analyze how they really made the mistakes and what they're thinking before they made the mistakes. That's number one. Number two, using that based on your own built statistics to really generate an edge and how your pattern can avoid all those big mistakes that they made, just to make sure they don't happen on you. Before jumping into this industry, you can study my mistakes, you can study other people's mistakes, and pull them out together. Try to go back to the time that before they made the trade, what they're thinking, what's their plan, trying to simulate the same situation again. That's one of the big factors that I use to study. After that, I started making 900,000, a million per year, 2 million per year, 3 million per year. Overall, people think money can change a person, but I don't think it changed me. So you have the freedom to buy whatever you want. Let's say I love cars and I bought cars. You get tired of them. Eventually, by the end of the day, it's where your passion is. So like, what do you want for your life? And I love trading. I will keep trading for the rest of my life. And I love cars. I will probably buy cars and just to have fun with them. And I love playing video games. I still play video games today. I think one of the most important lessons that stock market really teaches you how to become a humble person, because whenever you get a big ego, the stock market will instantly shut you down. And I think you hear this before. Your biggest losses come from your biggest gain, right after your biggest gain. Because when you have a biggest win, you are having so much ego, you want to make more money, and you're thinking about bigger futures. That's where you lose your guard and let one of the trade really catches you off guard. That's where you make the huge mistakes. And I did that multiple times. Pretty much I'm still doing it right now. When you are in the market, well, I'm talking about just you are a trader, a retail trader. You have to stay as humble as possible, pretty much in every aspect of your life. So next thing I want to talk about is a lot of people are asking, what's the minimum money to really, well, start off? As I said, you don't have to start trade right away. You can start with a few $100. A lot of brokers don't really accept really low capitals. You need at least about 3,000 to start. That's the minimum that I know for short selling. And for going long, you can start whatever you want. You can start with $300, you can start with $200, whatever you want to do. And a lot of people are also asking, a lot of courses are very expensive out there. So my personal experience, I spent about initially $20,000 just by purchasing all the courses out there online and trying to pick up as much knowledge as possible. Some of them just wasted. Some of them just so much bullshit, so much ramble. Some of them, well, it's good. And you are going to waste money on all those different courses out there. And as you can hear about me talking about it, is I don't really like that. I don't like rambles. I just go straight to the point. In my perspective, a lot of people know this. The more you learn, the less mistakes you make. And a lot of people just want to jump into this industry and expecting making like 20,000, 50,000, 100,000 right away. Because sometimes people that think like that, you will get lucky pretty much the first time or second time, but you won't get lucky in the long term. The mistakes that cost you will cost way much than what you have learned from if you didn't try to learn as much as possible, either on the internet, on the books, or whatever courses you get. And that's the reason why at the beginning I don't really mind that spend that much money on it. But some of the courses out there are completely 100% bullshit. Well, so that's the most two important things I want to really share about it in this video. So hopefully you enjoyed it. And for new beginners, hopefully these tips are helpful. For platforms, I already talked about last video. And live webinar coming soon. So make sure to click the email below, register your email there. And we'll be sending an email out giving a live webinar. So the live webinar, either it's going to be on YouTube or Zoom. We'll be sending an email about exact time and what link you're supposed to click. And so that's it. And thank you very much for supporting me. Almost 2 years in this YouTube channel. So smash the like button, and I will see you guys next video.
All right, about to illegally cross the border.
Can we even go this way?
I'm getting out. Hell no.